sir. Let's go. That's the get ready.
Good morning. Please stand for the presentation of our nation's colors by Cadet Captain Ashley Konigstein and singing of the Star-Spangled Banner by Anna Sharp-Keller.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does the Star-Spangled Banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may now be seated. Maintained by the junior class of the JRTC. And thank you to our guest speakers tonight, the cadets that will be talking, and thank you to Caleb for that Pledge of Allegiance, and thank you to Anna for the Star-Spangled Banner. I would now like to introduce our first speaker, Cadet Second Lieutenant Lathan Thomas.
Hello, I'm Cadet Second Lieutenant Lathan Thomas. Why did I join the JROTC program here at Lincoln High School? I'm in the program to both improve my leadership skills and prepare myself for a career in the United States military. Anyone can possess leadership skills, but those who know how to apply them are those who excel in life. They are also the ones who are willing to take charge in times of distress. They are the ones who others inevitably end up following for guidance. Leadership in itself seems to be a very simple word. It is defined as the process of influencing others to accomplish the mission by providing purpose, direction, and motivation. However, when you begin to look into the character traits of a successful leader, it shows how complex leadership can be. These qualities can be found in the 7 Army values. Loyalty, bear true faith and allegiance to the United States Constitution, the Army, your unit, and other soldiers. Duty, fulfill your obligations. Respect, treat people as they should be treated. Selfless service, put the welfare of the nation, the Army, and your subordinates before your own. Honor, live up to all of the Army values. Integrity, do what is right, legally and morally. Personal courage, face fear, danger, and adversity, physical or moral. While some of these qualities do not apply to most of us in this room, there are a select few who have chosen to lay their lives on the line in order to protect our freedoms and ensure that everyone in this beautiful country of ours remains safe for another day. The men and women who choose to serve our country possess these qualities. This makes them fairly unique when compared to the overall population of our country. These extraordinary men and women have chosen to risk their lives in defense of what they believe in. They have chosen to leave their families for sometimes years at a time, never knowing what part of the world they will land in, or if they will return back home to this wonderful country alive. We use Veterans Day to honor the men and women who have made sacrifices that most of us can't even imagine. We use it to remember those who have paid the ultimate price in the line of duty, from here in the States, the beaches of Normandy, the foxholes of Vietnam, the DMZ in Korea, the Persian Gulf, the mountains of Afghanistan, and the deserts of Iraq. We have lost many men and women. They have been there to ensure that our country remains safe and intact no matter the cost. Sometimes we take for granted the fact that there will always be someone to protect us, to defend our rights, and to sacrifice all of their time on this earth and to risk their lives. What do these people receive in return for all of the countless days and nights spent in service of our country? They are honored for a few days every year. I believe that they deserve more from us. So I ask all of you in the audience today to please think of what they have sacrificed in order to preserve our freedoms, liberties, and rights given to us by our founding fathers. Please set aside a few minutes every day to thank them for what they have done for us. Will all of the veterans here in the room with us today please stand for a moment?
A veteran is anybody that's served in the armed services or the Coast Guard.
A veteran is somebody who has served in the military.
A veteran is someone who has served in the branch of the military for like an extended amount of time, like served our country.
Someone who fought in the military.
It is any individual who has served in the armed forces of the United States, regardless of the branch, to protect the freedoms and rights of all American citizens.
Veterans Day is a way to honor veterans who are still living and to show them that we appreciate their service.
Veterans Day to me is celebrating everything that the veterans have done for us.
It's a day to honor. It's a day to remember. It's a day to honor and remember, obviously, those that paid the ultimate sacrifice and died. But I think just as important, it's a time to honor those who have given their time, have given their service for us as citizens, that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have.
November 11th. November 11th. November 11th.
It's November 11th.
November 11th. Veterans Day is November 11th.
November 11th.
Good morning, and thank you for joining me as we recognize veterans in their entire service to America. In the video, students are asked, what does Veterans Day mean to you? Although they gave just answers, I don't think we realize the impact of today. Veterans Day is defined as a public holiday held on the anniversary of World War I to honor U.S. veterans and victims of all wars. We should recognize that veterans have given a part of themselves to this country, and some have given all, laying down their life to defend its liberty. While in the JRC program, the word selfless service comes up a lot. The instructors push us to know what that means. And by definition, it means a service that is done without any expectation or reward in return. At first, we simply memorize the definition. Then we perform selfless service in many events in the community. Annually, we give approximately 3,000 hours of service to our community. In our service, we get the experience of doing something for someone else, and in return, getting the satisfaction of knowing we made someone's life easier. And knowing that, I now realize that veterans perform the ultimate selfless service, because they realize that selfless service is larger than just one person. They put the welfare of the nation, the Army, and their subordinates before their own.
While they served, they fought for something they felt was right, to go as far as giving their life up for it. And most people will never feel that kind of passion in their life. Most citizens of this country will never realize that they are walking freely because of someone they saw at the grocery store, someone that held a door for them at the bank, or someone who works in the school cafeteria.
Even though veterans may not always be wearing a uniform, they're just as important to recognize as if they are. Veterans Day means freedom, sacrifice, and honor for those who have served. It means to thank those who have given up everything to defend America's freedom. Because freedom is never free and we should not take it for granted. On this day, we should remember the untold number of Americans who set aside their dreams so you could have yours.
We should remember those
who have seen the terror, the horror, and the inhumanity of combat. We should remember the families who didn't have their loved ones come home for dinner. Because Veterans Day is much more than a public holiday. It is a day for our nation to remember and recognize why we have the privileges that we do. Thank you, Randy. We celebrate Veterans Day every year. Most people do not understand the great cost America went through before in order for Veterans Day to come to be. World War I, also known as the Great War or the War to End All Wars. 1,568 days or 4 years and 3 months of 32 countries destroying their resources, soldiers, and neighbors. This war, which the world had never seen the likes of before, ended officially on June 28th of 1919. 7 months on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Prior to this date, there was an armistice or temporary cessation of hostilities and warfare. It is for this reason that Veterans Day is celebrated on November 11th. President Wilson declared November 11th as Armistice Day as of 1919,
which Congress defined as a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter known as Armistice Day. President Wilson's initial idea for the holiday was for parades, public celebration, public meeting, and for businesses to have a temporary cease of business for at least 2 minutes at 11 a.m. As time went on and World War II ended, Congress elected to change the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. The reason being, World War II has the greatest amount of mobilization of sailors, airmen, Marines, and regular soldiers in the nation's history. Armistice Day was named to honor veterans primarily, so the change to Veterans Day would incorporate any veteran of any war to be celebrated on this holiday. Veterans Day has only been moved once, so that federal workers could have a longer weekend in October. President Eisenhower's decision to do this only caused mass confusion and most states to simply ignore it and continue celebrating it on November 11th. President Ford's returned the day back to its original date for its historic purposes. To this day, Veterans Day is observed on November 11th for its historic purpose, but most importantly to honor those men and women who have fought, are fighting, and will fight, so the American people can always remain free.
All right, good morning. How is everyone this morning? Feeling Veterans Day? You feeling it? The program this morning was put on completely by the LET 3s, those that have been in the junior ROTC program here 3 years. Myself and Colonel Baker stepped out of the way and turned it over to these cadets. And pretty much any task that we give them, they knock it out of the park. We really didn't set any guidelines or a time or anything else. And I couldn't be more prouder of the program that they've put together this morning. So let's give these folks a big round of applause. Y'all rock. You know, the thing that I'm not up here to make a speech, I'm up here to make a presentation. But the cadets are going to tell you, the person gets in front of a microphone, he's going to talk for a minute. So before we give a presentation to someone, Veterans Day, there's just two words that keep always coming to my mind, and that's thank you. I hear it a lot from people in the community here within the school, and it means a lot to a veteran. Trust me when we tell you thank you in return, because it's nice to hear those words. There's no way to say what a veteran does or sacrifices or gives, because for each veteran it's different. And each person that makes that commitment and takes the oath to serve this country does it for their own reason. But the biggest piece of that reason is for this great nation. Make no mistake about it. And it always will be. You see someone sitting up here on the stage that you all know. You know him because he says hello to you, whether it's at the cafeteria, throwing away your tray, whether it's at a basketball game on a Friday night, boys or girls, football game, golf match, it doesn't matter. This guy acknowledges you and usually has a smile or a laugh or a comment to you. What you may or may not know, many of you, is that he is as big a giver as anyone I've ever met in my life. And, you know, you think giving, you're thinking money. Yeah, some of that. He does that. But what he gives is way more than that. He gives his time. He gives his thoughts. You ask him questions, he'll give you an answer. Trust me, right? But he'll put a smile on your face when you're down. He does a lot of things that we just kind of laugh and enjoy being around Marty. When I asked the cadets about someone to recognize, there was one name that jumped out, and it was Marty, Martin L. They don't know a story that I'm about to tell you that just gives you an idea of what this guy is willing to give and do for you. Marty has known me since I was about this big, knee-high to a grasshopper, so to speak. I grew up just around the corner over on Hart Street, 1st and 2nd and Hart. When he was about 16 or 17, I was about 7 or 8. My aunt went to school with her right here at Lincoln, so he knew me. And then he went his way, of course, after high school. Fast forward 30 years, and this guy right here, coming back from a place on the other side of the world on a deployment, flew into an airport in Maine in March in the early 90s and met my daughter for the first time, who was 6 months old. She had been born while I was overseas. My assignment, my orders that I was to report to 30 days later was not another place that somebody wanted to go with a brand new child and a new wife. An aunt told me that there was a chance that Marty Qualkenbush could help me. Did I remember Marty? And I said, well, yeah, I remember Marty. They're like, well, Marty's in a position that he might be able to get you out of that assignment that was back-to-back, not good. I want you to know that I never went and disobeyed orders. I was a sergeant MP. I did what the Army told me. I moved up, I saluted, rocked on. That's what I did. But things changed when I seen a little 6-month-old girl in that airport that night. So I called Marty. And you would have thought that we had played golf every day for the last 30 years, like we were best friends. Sure, Brian, come on down here. I can see what I can do for you. So I drove down to Fort Knox, Kentucky, told Marty my situation, and in 2 hours, my orders had been changed because of that guy right there. And what you don't know is, had those orders not got changed, where I'd have went to, I lost 3 buddies that went on that deployment. And I don't talk about that, but it could have been me just as easy. But that wasn't what happened. And there's very few days that I see him that I don't think about that moment. He didn't have to do that. But that's who Marty is. Marty will go out of his way to help you and do it with a big heart. So today, we're going to give Marty a small token of our appreciation. And when I say it's from the JROTC program, it's not just us. I truly believe that many of you would do the same. So Marty, if you'll come up here real quick. As many of you know, each year the cadets get a photo taken, and it lines the hallway back by our classroom. We also get one this size, and we have it framed. This year, we're going to give one to Marty, because there's not a cadet on here that he doesn't know by their first name, has talked to them, commented on them in their uniform, and has done a lot for our program. Okay? And we just want him to have this because we always think of you, Marty, and what you do for us. We greatly appreciate it. For the junior ROTC program is located down in Fort Knox. We asked for a certificate to present to Marty, and it reads, from the 7th Brigade, Bold Warrior, Fort Knox, Kentucky. On behalf of the Army Junior ROTC cadets at Vincennes Lincoln High School, we thank you, Martin L. Qualkenbush, for your endless energy, enthusiasm, and your patriotic support of our school. Signed 11 November 2016, Colonel Lee Baker. And don't give you that to you. I want to make sure that I put a shout out to Mr. Hinkle, another veteran in the school. Very quiet, goes unnoticed, but his service goes without being recognized. And when I asked him about being up here today, you know what his reply was? Nah, I don't think to do that. And we also had a veteran sneak in on us today, and he's here usually every year up on the stage. But Mr. Graham, thank you for your service. We appreciate you being here this morning. So with that said, Mr. Thompson, would you like to come forward? Because we have wrapped this show up.
Students, just one more time, I'd like to reiterate that if you see veterans today, your family, if you have close friends, to make sure that you say thank you. Sergeant Degger, on behalf of Lincoln High School, I'd like to really thank you for your service. The cadets, thank you for putting on this program. Tremendous job. And Marty, one more time, congratulations. Let's hear it for Marty. At this time, we will conclude our program. We'll be going back to our third period classes. If we could have all students in Section A to go out the exit.